Hello, 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 we're back. I'm delighted to be back. We've survived another whole part. What are you clapping for? Oh, I know, because we're back. That's right. I forgot myself. I should have waited, shouldn't I? Right, now, OK, it's time to talk about the Crystal Palace and Chelsea match last Saturday, which unfortunately I was not there for. I had to watch it on a horribly dodgy internet stream, and it crashed out all the key moments. But never mind, I can relive them for you now. But first of all, I want to kind of pick up on, you know, the naughty kind of carry-on tone of the show that we were talking about earlier and explain the big Bulls win. I mean, it's really interesting, actually. There's a few of the people I was talking to on Twitter before the match. We were all in agreement that this was a really important match, and it was very important that we won this match. And I think thus it proved to be. It was a big win, and it showed that we really are up for the title this season. And I think it also shows the improvement that we've made on last year. What do you think, Mark?
Well, we lost last year, so that's definitely an improvement.
That's very astute of you. There's nothing that gets past you, mate, is there?
Blimey. Like
they don't call you Dr. Mark for nothing, do they?
And he didn't even see the game.
He didn't even see
and
the
he
game.
knows.
He's a visionary.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't have made that comment.
I know. Well, that's why he's been on here longer than you.
That's
You
right.
see.
True. It's true.
You know, but it's a bit like when you go away. It's a bit like when you go away to prison, Smart. I mean, you know, you weren't on the show for nearly 2 years, so we have to take. You know, it's a bit like if you don't, you know, have. How do I put this diplomatically?
Cojones?
Sexual relations for over 2 years, you're a virgin again. So it's a bit. That's what you are. You're a bit like a virgin on the Chelsea FanCast. Okay, yeah. Shall I move on? I'll move on. Talking of virgins, Seb.
Very good, Chidge.
So,
see what he did there?
Tell me about the improvement from last year.
He's newish on the show.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Of course, Jonathan. How could anybody think anything else? What do you reckon, mate? I mean, it was a big win, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, like Dr. Mark said, last year we lost it, and I thought that was probably the game that really cost us the league.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, and we played actually really well that day last year. It was just, like you said, just couldn't finish.
I don't think we played that well last year.
Well, we had a few chances. Like Hazard should have scored a couple.
Yeah. But I
But
think
anyway, yeah. But this game, I didn't watch it either because I was at law school, and it was on the highlights were great, and it's great. Another good team performance, and hopefully we'll stay there and we'll top of the league.
I'll tell you what. The other thing, I mean, you know, we'll talk about this no doubt in the fannies about Jose scribbling big balls on Paul Langen's notepad, but. You know, it was a ballsy performance. And would you say that it marks a mass? I mean, I think, you know, Jose was alluding to this, Jonathan, but it seems to me that the team this year has got a dramatic change in mentality. They're a lot tougher.
He keeps saying that they're his team now. So,
do you think Jose's got big balls?
I think he's got an enormous wonga, actually.
I think they're like
metaphorically.
Do you know what? I think Jose's balls are like space hoppers, mate.
Yeah. It's like
imagine that
character in Viz.
Yes. Bust to go now. Quality, Jonathan. But in all seriousness, I mean that you know, I think the mentality is so different this year, isn't it? They know how to win matches like that.
Also, I think they're a fantastic team, and the signings that he's made have just gelled them. They've got a completely different mental attitude from last year as well. But also the other main thing is he's got strikers that he believes in. You know, last year we kept having to include somebody who really wasn't doing it for us in Fernando Torres.
No, today, as you probably know, in fact, people out there might not know this yet, but on Mondays I now have to do a weekly blog for International Business Times UK Sport, which is a bit of a mouthful, but it's quite fun, and I did one last week, and I'll be talking about that later. But this week, funnily enough, I've done one on particularly this issue, the fact that there have been fundamental changes in the side this season from last season, and I think a lot of it shows Jose's meticulous planning and his team building. And it's not just the mentality, it's also the variety he has in that team. It's the competition for places he has in that team, because he's got 2 quality players in every position, but within his first, say, 15 players, there are players that can play in a variety of positions. And I think that's what's making the difference. I think it's fantastic, Smart.
Jonathan. As Jose said in his interview with Gary Neville, he hasn't got replicas.
No,
he hasn't got
exactly.
replicas. He'll adapt to suit other people coming into the team.
I couldn't agree more. Anyway, look, you lot out there, check it out. It should be out tomorrow, but it'll be in International Business Times UK Sport, IBT UK Sport. I'll tweet it all to you tomorrow. Now, Sophie, what are the revolting troops out there saying?
A lot of praise for Matic.
For Matic?
Yeah.
Oh, well, the thing about them is that, let me just see. See, look, only me and Sophie are going to share a moment now, okay? See this script here? What does that say? Matic
is the rock.
Be patient. It's coming. So what else they say?
So this is really interesting. Joe Tweed says Matic is as important to the incarnation of Chelsea as Makelele was the first time around.
Right, yeah. Well, can we talk about Matic in a minute?
Yeah.
Let's talk about Matic
What a
now.
great
Because
re-signing.
I think I'm with Joe entirely. I mean, no less a man than Joe Tweeds.
The
But
great Joe Tweeds.
The great Joe Tweeds. I think Joe Tweeds likes wearing a flat cap as well, actually.
Does he?
He's part
Does
of
he
the
wear
flat.
tweeds?
He ought to. I've got a tweed flat cap. I'll bring it in for him one day. But anyway, Matic is the rock. He is the rock upon which I think our creative talent, our abundant creative talent, are allowed to flourish.
He
and
frees
attack.
up the rest of the midfield. That's what he does.
But here's the thing, mate. The other thing about Matic that I was thinking about is that he is the perfect defensive midfield player. He's huge. He cleans up everything, but he gets the ball. Hang on a minute. He gets the ball forward quickly.
No, I don't think size is important in this instance.
He's got big balls.
No. Well, Makelele, we know that he wasn't called tripod for nothing, but he wasn't a big man.
No,
So size is not important in
not
that
literally.
role. No.
Metaphorically, he was.
Metaphorically,
Hitler only
in
had one,
certain respects.
No, I can't say that on air, Ross. No, don't put things like that into my head. But Seb, get us back down to football and normalcy.
I mean, this time last year, he wasn't even our player, and now he's, apart from maybe...
He's the key player.
Yeah, him, Fabregas, and Costa are the first three names on the team sheet.
I think I described him. He purrs like a Rolls-Royce engine, and he really does. But I love the way he gets the ball forward
he
quickly.
Passes forwards every time. I think they said this on Match of the
Can I
Day.
be
I don't
naughty?
think he's the key player.
Oh, I think he probably
he is,
is,
One
mate.
of, one of the key
He
players.
makes that team tick.
I think Fabregas is pretty
He's
But
important.
he
not
allows the forward players to do their thing. That's
I think JT's pretty key.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. But the other thing about... I'm going to be controversial here for a second, but I wonder, is Matic, or, the player that Mikel should have been?
That's a very good point. I think he is, yeah.
Interesting.
I think he is. Or the player that Mikel never was.
Or never could be.
Or never could be, and never will be.
But Mikel is...
Harsh, but probably fair.
Harsh, but fair.
Mikel plays for a number 10 role for Nigeria.
And he's much more creative, isn't he?
Yeah, he actually
I know.
gets forward.
When you analyse what Mikel's talents are, can he shoot?
Definitely not.
No.
Can he tackle?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, sort of.
Well,
Yes, he can.
sometimes doesn't
No,
get
he
booked. Yeah. Can he pass?
Yes.
He's a good nibbler.
Can
He
he?
nibbles well.
More
at
than
the
5
ball.
yards?
I think the
He
point...
gets it, he nibbles at
Smart.
it.
I
kicks
think
it
the
away.
point that I'm making is this, is that the difference between Matic and Mikel is that Matic gets that ball forward quickly.
I know.
Mikel never, ever seemed to be able to do that. And I love Mikel.
I
I'm a
had
huge
these
Mikel
chats.
I agree,
Interesting
me
you're
too.
saying that.
Hang on a minute. Soph's got some
Daniel
breaking news.
says Matic passes forwards and Mikel is backwards or sideways.
No, I had this
Yeah.
discussion with Psycho Phil a couple of weekends ago about Mikel, and I was actually defending
He
Mikel.
doesn't like Mikel.
No, I was defending Mikel because Phil took me through that routine. Can he pass? Can he kick? Can he shoot? Blah blah blah. And what I said was he might not be brilliant at any of those things, but he's extremely good at getting in the way.
Right, now, I'm going to move on because we could talk about Mikel for a long,
Having
long,
said
long
that, I
time.
love Mikel because
We're
of,
moving it on.
because of
We're moving it on.
Bayern.
If we don't move it on now,
Final.
I'm going to make you wear your flat cap and shame you into looking like the northerner that you really are.
I'll speak like
All
that
right?
for the rest of the
Exactly.
show then, if that's what you want.
I'm seeing
the
red
programme.
already. We're not even half an hour in, and I'm already seeing red at Jonathan. But we need to talk about that. Aspie, red card, wasn't it? Definitely. No arguments.
Appalling
Mates.
tackle.
Was a
What
bit,
came
wasn't
over him? It was a bit wet. There was a bit of drizzle. Perhaps he didn't mean to slide in like that. But I mean,
Hang on, was there a bit of drizzle?
bit of drizzle.
Drizzle.
There's some drizzle, you know.
But, it was naughty, wasn't it?
It's
I
uncharacteristic.
don't think he's a nasty
No,
player.
I don't think either.
uncharacteristic of him
I
to
think,
do.
yeah, I completely agree. Yeah.
Did he just get it wrong?
Yeah, I think he did.
think it
He
was-
mistimed it.
I think it was that sort of actual foot, raised foot. It was not the actual him barging into whoever it was. It was the raised foot. If it had been nothing, his leg, then it would have been fine.
But come to think of
Sophie,
it,
you
though,
were saying earlier on that it's his first red card.
First red card,
Yeah.
it's
In his
not really any
career,
need
I
for it, is
think.
there? But then
His
again,
first red card career.
people are saying online that they're always nervous with a one goal margin.
He did get a bit tetchy. There was
And I
that
think
period.
something like that, obviously they got players.
It's
sent
always
off,
going to
but
be tetchy with Warnock. Because you remember he was the artist of the
Colin.
the Queen's Park
He
Rangers
was.
1-0.
He was.
You
They
remember
were
when
kicking. They were
There was
kicking
lots
us.
of kicking going on. He's very good at that, Warnock.
But I tell you what, the corollary of that, and I think this goes right back to what we were saying about the ballsy performance that Jose's going on about.
Yes.
They started kicking us, and it did get that. There was a 15-minute period when it all kicked off a bit.
Yeah.
We never took one step backwards. We gave as good as we got, and actually, ironically, Aspie's horrible foul was
probably a
the epitome of that.
Absolutely.
You know, but and I mean, actually, talking of the other, I mean, you know, that incident, I thought it was hilarious that Fabregas. You know, he was the epitome of that as well. I mean, he didn't take a step back, threw Campbell to the floor with contempt.
And then they were chums afterwards. You see
Forehead
that?
into the face. Love
They
a bit of
embraced
that.
afterwards.
Do you know what? I was watching it on the stream, and it's a bit kind of odd watching football on a stream because you can't be as engaged in it if you can or at the game or in the pub or even if you're watching on a prop. The minute that started happening, guess what I did? I was up. Chelsea Anglo! Chelsea Anglo! I loved it! I got so excited.
Yes.
So you were all right being on a stream. You could watch it on a stream. I was on a lake and I couldn't.
Yeah, well, you shouldn't have been doing your eating boating somewhere, whatever it was you're doing. I mean, it's funny that you mentioned Warnock, you know, because I mean, Warnock complained about that JT foul on Campbell, and was basically saying that, you know,
It was the
trying to
same as the
excuse Delaney getting sent off.
Yeah, but he hadn't actually. Delaney's clearly there's something not working up there because every single time he committed a foul, he abused the referee.
Yeah.
It was he actually gave him the yellow card.
Don't talk to
not
me!
for the
Don't
foul.
talk to
That's
me!
right. He gave him for the abuse he got afterwards,
I know.
which Warnock didn't mention at all.
No, he got booked for dissent.
He did.
And it was definitely a foul. He was trying to accuse Remy of diving.
Yeah, ridiculous.
So Warnock did mention JT's that wasn't a yellow card.
No, I was saying that the reason that he got the yellow card was because of the abuse, not because of the foul.
Okay.
So
Now, talking of JT, we have to mention, of course, that it was the great man's 500th game as captain, leader, legend, which
he
is
almost scored.
Well, I was so willing him to
He
score.
scored in the fixture last year. of
He
course.
did.
Yeah, but the wrong end, old son.
Yeah.
But
Oh, yeah,
I was willing him to score. He could. What a marvellous achievement, though. And you know, apart from us lot who support him to the hill, you know, JT gets ridiculous bad press. But I'm just wondering, you know, I think that the game in England, I think that they should be comparing John Terry to Bobby Moore. I think he's up there as a centre back.
It's not going to happen though because of the Queen's Park Rangers incident.
There's agreement in the gallery apparently.
Yeah, but I agree completely. You know,
Is there agreement on the benches?
Oh, without doubt. I mean, Terry's the best English centre half for 20 years.
Yeah.
Without question.
But there is Bobby Moore, John Terry, that should slip off the tongue, shouldn't it? You know, Rio Ferdinand should slip off the edge, clearly.
Well,
I think, unfortunately, it's because of the success that Moore had. Well, fortunately for England at the time, with the two World Cups, '66 and '70, when they were major forces, there won't be the comparison.
No, well, he didn't win the World Cup.
He did. I'm saying he didn't.
But
go
I
up the
think,
steps,
but you know, I'll tell you another reason why.
But
I
Moore
think
didn't win the Champions League. So.
No, exactly. But and the other thing is, JT's debut as captain. I think he was 20 in December 2001, and he replaced Desai as captain, as we know. Now, Bobby Moore, I mean, he was the captain at West Ham, I think, when he was 19, 20, around the same kind of age. Won a European trophy with them, didn't he?
European
the
Cup
next year.
Cup '65.
I think there is a comparison to be made. But there we go. What I have to say, I mean, you know, one thing about JT. Can we see that picture of JT again that you put up so very kindly for us a minute ago, Ross? There we go.
Lovely hair. Lovely
yeah,
hair.
I was going to say, what is going on with JT's haircut? I mean, Joe Strummer, Travis Bickle, or Forrest Gump? Which one of those do you reckon it is?
I like it.
You like it?
I love it.
It's like
You
one
love
of
it?
those.
Yes.
Why do you love it, Sophie?
It's amazing.
Well, what's good about it?
It's
Well, it's different.
It's very
different.
it's
ephemeral.
Forrest Gump, that one.
I think it's more
It is
Forrest
Forrest
Gump.
Gump.
He looked like one of the killers in Boardwalk Empire.
I think it is a bit Forrest Gump, that haircut.
It's a bit
Yeah.
far.
But just go.
Can we have another look at it again, just to clarify? Is it Forrest Gump or not? Last time.
The look on his face isn't helping.
Life is like a box of chocolates. You just don't know what you're going to get. Anyway, that's all I've got to say about that.
The last thing to say about probably the Bobby Moore John Terry comparison is that Bobby Moore's middle name was Chelsea.
It was. Robert
So perhaps
Chelsea Moore.
if John Terry's middle name was West
West
Ham,
Ham.
he might have got the same recognition.
Yeah.
you know?
I don't think he'd have fessed up to it though. Although you know they were born in the same estate.
Yeah.
Rob Shepherd tells me this all
And
the
so
time.
is Ray Ferdinand.
Yeah, exactly. Right, now, one other thing I want to talk about. I mean, you know, if we can we take as read things that I didn't get a chance to talk about, that we had lots of possession, that we played ridiculous amounts of wonderful football for about a 15-minute spell where Palace couldn't get the ball. It was hilarious. In fact, one thing I do want to say about that, there was a period in that that bit where we were just keeping the ball for fun. It reminded me of Leeds versus Saints in '72. You know, when they just kept the ball.
And they cheered.
And then when Southampton tried to get it back, they just won it back and started doing flickies.
And then they scored at the end of it.
I know. Sorry, Sophie. Sorry, Seb. I know you weren't even thought
alive.
of that. Some of us here were alive. You know.
Yeah.
But it was amazing. Barely. I was barely alive. So that was brilliant. Fabregas was fantastic. We all know, but we did Matic, and Hazard was great, and Oscar sort of great. Okay, can we take that as read? Because I really want to talk about this thing I want to talk about now.
Yes.
Is that all right?
I'm happy.
Okay. Right. Okay. I want to talk about the Palace Ultras. Ooh, naughty little band they are. Naughty, naughty, naughty. Now, this banner, we got a picture of the banner here, I think. This is what they had when the game started. Romans, spelt wrongly, there should be an apostrophe between the N and the S.
Oh, for goodness.
Romans' dirty money is a disease that has plagued our game. What are you on about? Seb, what is all that about?
Sorry, what does our mean? Who's our?
Well, quite.
Yeah.
What is it all about, Seb?
Well, bad grammar for a start.
Oh, I know, it's terrible grammar. Sophie's agreeing with terrible grammar
Yes.
as well.
Awful.
That's just sort of thing Palace do, isn't it?
Aren't
Really,
they pathetic?
they love a banner like that. They did it the
They
last.
like a banner, don't
Well, they
they?
did it against Man City as well. The shake money. It was just.
Yeah, the same did it.
So since when have Crystal Palace been so holier than thou?
It's very tin pot, isn't it?
Is this driven by the Matthew Said article in the?
Who
in
knows?
The
I doubt
Times?
if any of the Palace fans are capable of reading the
Reading
Times.
that one, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
judging by the grammar on that disgraceful banner, mate, I don't think they get much beyond the paywall.
No.
They seem
Anyway,
very bitter.
what? Am I very bitter?
No, the Palace fans.
They are very bitter, Safe. Is that what they're saying on there?
It's not good. No, there's not too much. There was
Be
more
careful,
more
they'll
earlier.
catch you out by saying naughty words, which you can't say on TV.
No, it's
on,
okay. Everyone's
They're
been
pretty
very
lightweight
polite
as
to me,
well.
actually. Maybe it's just towards you when you're doing this.
I see.
They're fine with me.
Okay, well, of course they are. Right, now, what I would like to say about the Palace fans, I had a think about this. Self-styled ultras. And this is all the reasons why Palace are a disease that have plagued our game, or more to the point, they're ultras. Self-styled ultras, I mean, they can't even be original. A drum. Everybody
I
knows
was about
that
to
a
say,
drum of football is the
What I
biggest
loved
no-no.
about the drum was that we scored and the drums still kept going.
But their banner is proclaiming loudly that they are against modern football, basically. So they have self-styled ultras, which they've nicked off the Italians who did it more stylishly.
A drum.
They have a drum,
Yes.
which everybody knows is out of order. They all look about 18. Well, there's no crime in that per se, but they are mongish, let's be honest. They are stripy
You're
Nigels.
allowed to say that.
They are stripy Nigels. Do you know what they reminded me of? They look like a bunch of teenage chavs giving it all the verbals and giving it the large one, and then and scattering as soon as you front up to them. That's the kind of people we're talking about.
Chidge, they're bitter, but they're lightweights as well, so they're actually light and bitter.
Now, the only thing I've got to say, talking of being against modern football, this is a club that has this. Can we see the next picture, Ross?
Goal music.
They've got cheerleaders.
Now that's
They've
all
got
right.
cheerleaders.
It's a shame they couldn't have got them in the irrigation system.
Tell
but
you
there
what, though,
go.
it looks a bit cold there.
You're against the cheerleaders.
What?
You're against the cheerleaders.
Am I against shit? Well, I don't know. I think we should do a poll.
If we had it at Stamford Chidge, you wouldn't say no. would you?
Okay,
No, you wouldn't, would
Jonathan,
you?
cheerleaders, yes or no? Would you or wouldn't you? I'm sorry, yes or no?
Yeah.
No to cheerleaders.
No, that was a yes.
That was a yes to
It went
cheerleaders.
yes.
Yes,
It'd
okay.
have to be a selective process.
I'm talking
Yeah.
about at a football match, not what you would do with them after.
They'd have to be good cheerleaders.
Okay.
Yeah.
They'd have to be like American NFL cheerleaders.
Seb, yes or no to cheerleaders?
Yes, on certain terms.
No! I can't believe it. Martin, don't let me
I
down.
used to enjoy the cheerleaders at Harlequins. They were called Harley's Angels.
You're fired. You're fired. So, I mean, I would expect you to say yes to this, but what do you think? Should we have cheerleaders in football or not?
I don't know. I don't think it's appropriate for football.
Good girl.
Unfortunately, it's just not. It's not very. It's not very cultural, is it really?
Good girl.
It's somebody else's culture. It's American culture. Is that
It's
what you're
awful.
saying?
Sophie!
Thank you,
I've got to
everyone.
say, that is fantastic.
Unless I'm going to be the only cheerleader.
Would you
Well,
be a
Chidge might change his
cheerleader
mind.
in football, though? Would you be a cheerleader?
No,
You
probably
would-
not.
You wouldn't even do it. Love it.
If Jose asked me
Would
to.
you be Bridget with
Would I
Stanford?
be-
Oh, yeah,
Bridget with Stanford.
Would she be Bridget to your Stanford?
To my
is what you're
Stanford.
talking about. I think we
I
should
think
leave
I've. I
that
think
there.
I've lost
I
track
think
of the
you're brilliant. I
conversation.
love you,
I
Sophie.
think that outfit would be a bit warmer.
Enough,
wouldn't
Martin. We've got to go to a break. Sophie, you have earned your money already this evening. I'm
Yes.
going to fire those three, and we're just going to make the show you and me next week. I think
There
She
we
can
go.
lie on the
Fair play.
couch, can't she?
I could
Recline on the
You
couch.
could lie on the
I'm a
couch.
trained counsellor. She could lie on the couch, and I could ask her questions
Yes,
about her childhood.
Of course.
This
Yeah.
sounds very, very wrong.
Yes.
I'm going to move on to the break because I think I need. Yeah, Ross says so. I think I need to lie down after all that. Right, we'll be back after a minute, and we're going to be doing fannies for the Palace match. I can't wait. See you in a second.
Woo!